He's back, and she's back also. It's a new Terminator movie.
It's the J. Craig Movie Review. Movie Review. A movie with you.
Terminator Dark Fate is the newest Terminator movie out in theaters this weekend. It's directed by Tim Miller, who brought us the first DeadPool, and it stars Linda Hamilton as Sarah Connor, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Natalie Reyes, who is your new Sarah Connor of the movie, if you will, and Mackenzie Davis. Now, this movie is essentially a follow-up to T2. So this is the unofficial Terminator 3. We did have a Terminator 3 called Rise of the Machines, but between Rise of the Machines, Salvation, and Terminator Genesis, which I didn't even bother seeing, this movie supersedes all the other sequels that have come out since Terminator 2, and it is a direct follow-up to the events that ended the Terminator series in Terminator 2. We know that Arnold, or the T-800, was melted, the villain T-1000 was melted, and all the other things that were gonna help Skynet and Cyberdyne become the power, those are negated, right? So now we have a future that's unwritten. So this movie follows up in that regard, and I was a little concerned, like, why is Arnold back? How did he come back? He melted, and, I thought everything was changed because of what happened in T2. Well, everything's explained, and it makes sense. They do a good job explaining why things are happening and what happened, and it makes sense. I liked this movie for the most part. I was really, really surprised. I'm not going to give any spoilers here, but I will say the opening sequence in this movie had me. It was shocking. It was a wow moment. I mean, literally, me and my brother-in-law, turned to each other and went, wow, at the same time after that sequence, because it really hooks you in and lets you run with it. And I was completely on board at that point. It's a sequel to Terminator 2. It's almost like a reboot as well. So it's, with today's day, you have these reboots of the sequels that are reboots, so it has like a similar feel. Like Force Awakens, it's essentially A New Hope, and Last Jedi is essentially garbage. Empire Strikes Back, and of course, that this Rise of Skywalker will be Return of the Jedi, right? We all know that. So this movie is a reboot in a way, because you're kind of starting things over in one way, shape, or form, and it's a sequel. But again, supersedes all the other sequels. Those were crap. This movie actually, while it's not great, is very entertaining. Again, the opening shocked me. You have a returning of all the characters that you know and love with Sarah Connor and the T-800, and Arnold's, T-800. So you have all these familiar characters, but now we're setting the stage for a different story, because Sarah stopped what happened, but something new is going to happen, right? So now we have a new storyline to work with. I liked it a lot. Acting-wise, Sarah Connor, Linda Hamilton, she's the weak point of the movie. It's great to see her back as a badass, but her lines are so just constantly one-liners, and she's like the Arnold of the movie, right? So she's just constantly one-liners, and it gets a little tiring, a little forced, but, it's Linda Hamilton, so we kind of let it pass, right? She's a badass. It's nice to have Arnold back in the thing, and I like the fact that he looks older. Again, it's all explained. I have issue with some of this movie, which I'll get to in a minute, but it's all explained, okay? So action-wise, really fun, some good action sequences. It's what you know and love from a Terminator movie, is you have really good action pieces, really good chasing sequences always, and that doesn't stop here. It's pretty entertaining in that regard. Okay, so let me get to some of the issues I have with this movie. While I find it to be very entertaining and a good follow-up, it's not James Cameron by any means, but you can see he was a part of this movie some way, at least with ideas and execution. This movie is so overly heavy-handed with its social warrior, social messaging, social justice aspect. Women are awesome, men suck. Yeah, we know, we get it. We've been, the last several years, we get it. Men are horrible. We are despicable creatures, and women rule the world. I get it. I like the messaging, but it's just overly heavy-handed. It's beating you in the head with it. You have the villain, who is a guy. You have Arnold. He's a bad guy at one point, good guy maybe, I don't know. You'll see the movie, you'll find out. But everyone else is a female in this movie, right? You have Natalie Reyes, who is your new kind of Sarah Connor, the one who they're trying to protect. You have Mackenzie Davis, who is the new Reese of the movie. Maybe I said it's kind of like a reboot, right? So you have similar aspects here, but it takes a new direction. So you have a new Reese, if you will, with Mackenzie Davis. And then you have Sarah Connor, who's kind of like Arnold in T2. So you have, these strong women, and of course the men are bad, right? So it's just a little heavy-handed, and the non-gender thing is also very prevalent. From the trailers, you can see they're doing some non-gender aspect here, and they really they have a couple lines of dialogue that point to it, and it's not shying away from the fact that they're trying to do the whole non-gender aspect of what are you? I'm not going to tell you. It doesn't matter what I am, kind of thing, right? So it's heavy-handed. Okay, Arnold, the T-800, and his. I can't say this without giving anything away, so you have to see the movie, but they explore something with the T-800, but at the same time, I just don't agree with the choices that they made with that. But they explored it, they attempted something, I appreciate that, I just wasn't thrilled with what they did with it. Ultimately, I really enjoyed this movie, probably more than I should have. I love the Terminator movies. Let me rephrase that. I love T1 and T2. I do not like the other movies. I love the idea of what this all represents, but it ended with T2. But this makes sense on why they had this movie around and what's happening because of it, and it's a nice follow-up. So, we're at the time of year, folks, that there are going to be a lot of good things to see right now, and everything that I'm seeing is awesome. So, pick your battles, but this was fun. If you like the Terminator movies, you like action movies, go see it. Just know you might get annoyed with some of the messaging. At least I was, because it was just so heavy-handed and in your face, and okay, we get it, men suck. Like I did like a robot too. How about that? Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and like and follow the J. Craig. And go see the movie.
It's the J. Craig Movie Review. You watch till the end. Thanks, like,